More training on recruiting, on building your team, building your business. So I asked her to talk a little bit about that, but before I let her get into it, and she was there when I spoke about this, I think one of the things I can't speak on enough when it comes to building our business, growing our teams, is the mindset that we go into it when it comes to recruiting. And I spoke basically on this at the Elevation Tour. So if you weren't there, this is brand new to you. Probably not brand new to you in general because you know me. But the biggest thing, my biggest advice when it comes to one, attracting people to join your tribe, but two, how you enjoy building your team and your business is leading with gratitude, right? I think a lot of times and lately, like I said, last year, post 2020, and, navigating this new normal that we all have, whether that's at work, whether that's at home, whether that's mentally, our new normal, our biggest focus has to be making sure this business stays our outlet, right? Our passion. This is never going to work for you if you make this your stressor. If you make this the thing at the end of the day where you sit down, you're like, oh my God, I have to do this. And I don't really want to. Guys, this is the thing that you run to when you need to escape the rest of the, oh my Gods, right? When you're just like, oh, I need 10 minutes to myself. My kids are driving me crazy. I'm going to go in my chat and see what's happening. You decide like, I can't be at work anymore today. I'm going to leave 30 minutes early and I might just sit in my car, and you might have 5 different messages from potentials or VIPs. And you're like, wow, like I literally got to leave work where I get paid to go sit in my car to work on something that really fulfills me. And instantly you went from burnt out, tired, annoyed to, wow, I get to go work my passion, where I built my team, where I built my community, where I found myself in a new way and I built my confidence. So leading with gratitude in this business, I could go on and on because I found so many different amazing qualities in myself because of this business. And I want to encourage you guys to really focus on what your mindset is when you come to money every day, sit down and work. But I will hand it off to Natalie. I asked her to talk a little bit about confidence and consistency, and I'm so excited to hear what she has to say. I have my notes ready, but Nat, I will let you take it away.
All right. Well, I want to thank you all for joining us tonight. I know that, evening time, some of you guys have kiddos, you've got full-time jobs, you've got all kinds of things going on. So for you to even show up is huge. And for me to get to be a part of this is a privilege. So I have fur babies that hopefully they've already gone to bed. So hopefully they won't interrupt here, but you never know. So, it was such a pleasure to get to see so many of you in Columbus, in my backyard. So I know I have gotten to meet some of you, but I would love for you to drop in the chat your rank and where you're from, so I can see that. I always like to know who I'm talking to rather than assuming. MP from Columbus. Very cool. Columbus, Pennsylvania. Go Bucks. Yes, especially Saturday. Seattle. All right. So we're all over. New York. Fantastic. And then I'm also curious how long you've been with Monate. So if you can just drop that in the chat. It's a year and a half, 2 months. Very cool. So we've got some that have been here a year and a half, some that are fairly brand new. So wonderful. Well, I thank you for sharing that with me because, like I said, I always like to know kind of who I'm talking to. And, when Kate asked me to talk about this, and when she talked about a lot of you guys in Columbus, just the pride and joy that she has when she talks about you and just the potential that you all have. And that is probably one of the most fulfilling things when you've been in this business a while or been a part of this company, is you get to see somebody come in and make amazing things happen in their business. And then that's wonderful. But then that fever that they get to help other people enjoy that same success. And I've watched that with Kate. And, I do a little stalking on Instagram and follow some stories and everything. So I see the times that she gets tagged for these calls, and I've gotten to watch some of her journey and to watch that evolution from here's what I'm going to make happen for my family to here's what I want to make happen for my team, to being asked to be part of that is it's probably one of the biggest thrills that I get in this role. So I thank you for that. So out of curiosity, I would love to know how many of you on this call drop a 1 if you were asked to join Monate. If you were asked. Drop a 2 if you had to ask somebody, if you were the one that came to somebody and said, hey, I want to do this. Interesting. A little bit of each. So I didn't do an official poll, but it looks like there were a few more of you that asked to join versus being asked. So I would ask you what it was that caught your attention, that made you want to be a part of it. What was it that you're like, I want to do this? Kate, yep. The confidence I was seeing from the girls, she made me believe in myself. Wonderful. Kate and her transformation, as well as the confidence. All of the above. Okay. So those are great reasons. And there are so many reasons why people join this business. Some of it will be, I just want a discount on the products. I don't want to pay full price, and that's fine. I don't encourage you to go after people that way, but if it brings them in the door and then they see the light bulb and go after it, that is fantastic. But knowing what you have, how many of you drop a 1? Also, if you feel like, even regardless of how long you've been with us, if Monate has made your life better. Lots of 1s. Very cool. Now imagine, and there's no response left for this, but imagine what your life would be like without Monate. I see some faces like, I can't, I'm on the corporate side and I can't imagine my life without Monate. So then that question I would ask you is, knowing what it's done for you and not being able to imagine what your life would be like without it, why wouldn't you be offering this to everyone that you can think of? Crispy hair. So what are some of the things that you think hold you back from offering Monate as a business to different people? Fear. Fear of what? That they'll say no, or that they'll think you're pushy?
Guys, also feel free to just speak.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. She won't bite, I promise.
No.
Fear of judgment.
Fear of judgment. Judgment of others. Sometimes embarrassed. Fear that people will think I'm pushy. That is a common thing. Fear of not being taken seriously. Don't want to be that girl. Yes, because we've all witnessed and been the victim of that girl. Fear that people will only think I want their money. Those are great. I'm not going to call them reasons. Those are great statements. So the good news is everything that you shared is very common in this industry. And I've been in this industry, both field and corporate side, for a couple decades and then some. So judgment and discouragement about constant rejection. So let me ask you this. We're coming into the holidays, and so Christmas cookies might be a thing that you're going to see at a lot of places. You go to a party, or there's an amazing charcuterie board, or your favorite wine, or whatever it is, that if you were at your home and hosting a party or hosting an event, and you had this tray, we'll use cookies to keep the example easy, but you had this tray of amazing cookies, and they're the most amazing cookies. And the people you've talked to have said they're the most amazing cookies. So if you had that tray and you went around the room to all the people that you knew, would you say, okay, now I'm sure she's going to want a cookie, so I'll offer her one. And she probably wants one, but I don't think she wants one. And then you skip over 2 or 3 other people because you're sure they're not going to want. You don't even offer it to them. They can see it. They know you have it, but you don't even offer it to them because you've decided for them that they don't want it. So you keep skipping around. Then you offer a cookie to somebody and they say, no, thank you. I don't want one. So if they tell you they don't want that cookie, is that because you're a horrible person? Is that because you're lacking in character? No, they just don't want the cookie. It is not a reflection on you. So your job is to offer it to them, and their job is to decide whether they want it or not. Because maybe they're on a diet right now and they do want the cookie, just not today. Okay. So I try to use analogies anytime I can to make things as simple as possible. Because if you can look at this business as that gift, that cookie that you have to offer somebody, and that's all that it is, like, hey, I want to let you know about this amazing thing. And I see a lot of you guys do this on social media, just sharing things that you like, oh my gosh, look at these, look at the TikTok leggings that I got. Aren't these awesome? Whether you're getting paid for them or not, you share them because you love them. I tend to take things personally when I get a no. I need to get out of that mindset. Yes, because here's the other way to flip it and look at it is, how many people watch you and know what you do, know that you're a part of this organization, one of those MLMs, those pyramids? How many of them know that you're part of that, and yet you haven't invited them to either try the products or consider joining your team? So what message are you sending to them when you don't ask? Who out there that is watching you right now, and some of you said, I watched Kate for months. Who out there is watching you, maybe has even interacted with you, that you haven't talked to, that you haven't offered, that's saying, wow, she gets to go to do all these things. She gets to go on these trips. Look at her out with her friends having fun. Oh my gosh, look, she said she bought this with her last check. Wonder why she hasn't asked me to join her. She probably doesn't think I'm good enough. She probably doesn't think I could do this. But I feel like I reach out to people, think it's intrusive, and I don't know how to get away from that mindset. Well, I would say that is potentially in the how that you're reaching out. So when you're worried about what their reaction is, it's because you're going into it looking at it from your point of view. What's in it for you? So if you can look at it as a genuine opportunity just to get to know somebody, because here's the thing, you don't want everybody on your team. And I can't remember who the leader is, but she says, when I'm talking to people and thinking about who I'd like to have join my team, I kind of ask myself, is this somebody that I would like to be lying next to on the beach in Punta Cana having a drink? Is this somebody that I want to work with? And when you start looking for the right people instead of just any people, and when you go into it looking for numbers like I need an MMB, I need an MMP, me, I, it is all about you. And that's when it's pushy. That's when people can pick up on it and be like, oh, okay. Especially if you're doing it at the end of the month. So one of my favorite things to share, and I've got to find the screenshot somewhere. This is a girl I went to high school with. Some of you are from Columbus, so I will definitely not use her name, but trust me, we're generations apart. You probably don't know her, but she was selling for another company, and one of those that would just post randomly like, hey, if you're interested, call me. No relationship, nothing. And it was actually November 30th. So it's been a few years now, but it was 9:25 p.m. on November 30th. November has 30 days. It was the last day of the month. And I get a Facebook message from her. Hey, haven't talked to you in a while. Hope you're doing well. Looks like it's cold up there in Ohio. Haha. Okay, that didn't win any points. But then she's like, hey, also didn't know if you were interested in any XYZ products. So if you are, let me know. Okay, it's 9:25 on month end. I know exactly why you're reaching out. There's no relationship there. So when you take out the numbers and what do I need to get to my next rank? What do I need to get PV? What do I need? And you start shifting it to getting up every morning with, who can I bless with what I have to offer? And we're talking about money here, ladies. Okay. So what you do in your personal time is none of my business. I'm just kidding. But who can I bless with money? Whether it is somebody that needs the product, that can be a little, I mean, we've all been there when we're out, and I know people, I still see them out and I'm like, oh, if I could just get her and wash her hair, oh, wow, what Monate could do for her. So it's finding ways to genuinely connect with people. And there's a phrase I love that's, people will find you interesting when you are interested. So when you go into a conversation with somebody trying to figure out, okay, so how can I bring Monate into this conversation? You're going about it the wrong way. It is just general interest in somebody, striking up a conversation. And it can be something as simple as, oh my gosh, I love your hat. That is so cool. And, and maybe you bring it up like, yeah, I wear hats a lot too. Or they say something like, oh, it's because it's bad hair day. Then you can be like, you know what? I used to have bad hair days too. And, fortunately for me, I found products that make my hair fun again. And stop talking. Well, tell me more about that. That's the product. But just taking an interest in people, and especially now, after we've all been locked up, quarantined for so long, people are starving for connection, to be seen by somebody. And I have found that just a compliment, a genuine compliment for somebody. And it could be something as simple as you see a mom out with 2 kids and those kids are losing it and she's keeping it together. And you say, you know what, mama, good on you. I love the way you're keeping it together. Just a simple compliment. Yeah. When the opportunity will arise to hand over the business card, is that what you're talking about? Yep. And I love that you do business cards, because I had somebody tell me, oh, business cards are for old people. So, and if that's the way people think, then you've got to have it with you, something to remember you by, something to give to them or to connect on Instagram. But the point is, forget about the business for a minute and just be interested in people, genuinely interested in people. And you'll be amazed where those conversations will go. And when you talk to each other and talk about some of the relationships that you guys have, it's probably like the products and the business become secondary. You probably find yourself almost like on these calls going, oh yeah, we got to talk about, MMP. We got to talk about this. We got to talk about that. Yeah. People ask for a business card. See, I'm glad to hear that. It made me feel a little younger. So don't be afraid to offer what you have, because the only thing they can do is say no. And it doesn't change. Their opinion, their no does not change how fabulous this business is, how fabulous your team is, how fabulous you are. It's classy. Yes, I think so too. And actually, I don't have any with me right now, so I'm going to have to change that as well. Yes, you look official, like you actually give that. Yes. And somebody earlier in the chat had said, I don't know that people will take me seriously. So how seriously are you taking your business? I love the comments. I'm looking at my notes to make sure that I don't forget anything that I had written down. One thing I wrote down while you guys were, while Kate was talking is, taking time away and looking at this as kind of your outlet. And it was a great phrase I heard somebody share many years ago. It said, I have a full-time job and a fun-time job. And I'm making my goal to make my fun-time job my full-time job. Looking through my notes again. Yeah, I asked you what your life would look like without money and why you would deprive somebody of this gift. And I'll take it one step further. Why would you deprive somebody of the gift to get to know you? And that's where you've got to dig deep, maybe do a little work, a little personal development, but fall in love with your fabulousness and do not compare yourself to anybody else on this call, anybody else in this company, because everybody out there needs to see themselves in somebody with Monate. So we need all ages, all sizes, all backgrounds, all people, you name it. We need everybody to see themselves in somebody. Yeah, you guys really are the shit. I'll say that. Comparison is the thief of you, or the thief of joy. Absolutely. So, and I have to say, I love watching, because I'll see screenshots that Kate will share from some of her calls, and or just a little blurb of somebody that's doing a conversation on one of the stories, and just seeing the way that you all pour into each other is refreshing, because I grew up in a generation where people were much more competitive and tearing people down, and that was without social media. Like, they couldn't get to you the way they can today. So you all have the opportunity to be a light, like Stuart says, and be that bright spot for somebody. And you got to shine even when the people around you are being dark. Definitely need to work on not comparing myself. I expect myself to be where people who have been doing this for years are. Well, there's a reason our comp plan does not change for anybody. It's the same level. Everybody starts at the same level. And the beauty is there's no limit to the number of spots at the top. So it's not a race. Exactly. Don't compare your chapter 1 to someone's chapter 20. You're all writing your own stories, and even the dips, the hard parts, are helping you, and they're preparing you to help somebody else when they hit their dips. Anybody in here have their own business outside of Monate? Meanwhile, I'm at the table of contents. That's hysterical. Does anybody in here, has anybody ever owned another business? Hairstylist, right? Hairstylist, freelance, home baking business. Well, I hope you're in Columbus. I'm just kidding. Yes, I have. Katie does. So if you've had another business or even worked for somebody else that owns their business, you know that it's like this. And your Monate business is not going to be any different. It just isn't. And nothing worth having is easy. Do you want to walk up on that stage someday getting your check and be like, wow, I don't even know how this happened. This was easy. No, you want to be proud walking up on that stage knowing what you did to get there. You want to own it. You want to be able to show people, hey, it took work, but it can be done. The growth along the way. Exactly. And I will share with you my very favorite quote in the entire world. And if it were not so long, it would be tattooed somewhere on my person. But it is Corrie ten Boom, and it's every person and every situation that God puts in your life is the perfect preparation for a future that only He can see. Every single part of your journey, from where you've come from to where you're going to go, when you can start looking back and say, I'm getting goosebumps thinking this way. Wow, if I hadn't, started following Kate, then I wouldn't have learned about Monate. And if I hadn't learned about Monate, I wouldn't have the hair that I do. And if I didn't have the hair that I do, I wouldn't have attracted those people. And that's like a minimal thing. I've taught my boys, they're 25 and 20, almost 27. When you can start looking back and connecting the dots of, wow, if this hadn't happened, then I wouldn't have learned about this. And if I hadn't learned about this, then I wouldn't have made this choice. And if I hadn't made this choice, I would have never met this person. And when you can start connecting those dots, when crappy things happen, and they do, you can start looking at it and go, you know what? Something good came out of that. So when crappy things happen, you'd be like, okay, this kind of stinks, but something good is going to come out of this. So even when dips happen in your business, you get, discouraged. Somebody tells you, oh, you're one of those companies. Oh, when are you going to get a real job? You know what? Just bless them and let them go. That's their opinion. Kate, I owe everything to postpartum hair loss, I guess. See, but it is. And that helps you to connect with other people. And they're like, okay, yeah, I had that problem too. And if they think they're only getting involved for postpartum hair loss and then find out, oh, wow, hey, it can be really isolating being home. I love being home with my kids, but wow. I mean, I used to joke that, hey, when my boys were little, because I sold, well, this is what we'll see. All you Columbus people, if you've heard of Longaberger baskets, you're nodding. Yeah. They're those expensive baskets. That's where I started with network marketing, party plan, whatever, selling baskets. And part of my presentation was always like, you know what? I get to be a stay-at-home mom and I love it, but my kids have yet to go, wow, mom, the way you make that macaroni and cheese is just mwah. And my underwear just magically appears in my drawer. And I just, wow, mom, you're amazing. That was my outlet. That was my way of having something that was my own. Having connection with people outside of those little humans in my house. Because remember, we didn't have social media, texting, cell phones, any of that stuff. So I say that because you have so much to offer people. It isn't just the financial opportunity. It's the community. It's the belief in themselves. It's the setting goals. It's the getting to have a say in what happens to them when they show up, when they don't. So I could talk all night about this. You told me like 10 to 15 minutes, and I think I've gone like 20 or 25.
We could listen to you all night, honestly.
Yeah. Little humans make you cray cray. Yes, they do. They do. That's why God makes them cute. They even cough cute. So, but I would love, like, I could talk about this all night, but I would love to know, like, what questions, if you guys have a question or something you want to know.
Yeah, while you guys are writing those, I want to say two things that stood out to me. One is, and I always tell you guys this, when, a couple times she said like one of those companies or MLMs, pyramids. Whenever someone asks me about my business, number one, I'm confident. I get excited to tell them what I do. But number two, when someone says something like that, I just want to remind you guys to be like, oh yeah, we absolutely are one of those companies. You really should look into how they're actually run, because I was completely shocked at how amazing their compensation plans are. And to really be confident in your response back when someone gives you a snarky remark like that completely nips it in the butt from the start. And that's what I found. And secondly, she talked about how, you're inviting people to this, like, become a part of our team. When I said we are the shit, I say this all the time. And sorry, Tay, I'm going to use you as an example again. Taylor, Zemba, and I, you guys, like, there's no reason on paper her and I should be friends. Like, zero. My sweet girl turned 20 a month or two ago. Okay. She is a baby, but I love her dearly. I talk to her every day. We don't have that much in common, but I consider her one of my closest friends. And if it had not been for Monique bringing us together, she's not even my direct downline, but without Monique, I would have never known her. And she's brought so much joy, light, happiness. And I could say this about many of you that we probably don't have much in common, but she's my favorite because she's such a baby. But think about that when you're in the chats, when you're doing a live with a sideline, when you're bouncing ideas back and forth off each other. How many people on this team would you most likely never have come across or never met had it not been for us bringing this community together? And that always puts it in perspective for me, because I would say 98% of all of the girls on my team, I don't know if we would have ever crossed paths. So those are my 2 cents, but let's get into those questions. I don't want to keep her too long.
You're fine.
Feel free to just pick a couple, but.
So Emily, I think, was first and says, in your opinion, the best way to gain new prospects. Again, which one is Emily? Is her face on here? That's okay. I was just going to wave. Hi, Emily. There she is. Best way to gain new prospects is starting a conversation, reaching out to people. And that can be scary, but it's reaching out without expectation. It's you're standing in Starbucks line and you comment on somebody's bag or whatever, finding a way to connect with somebody just genuinely. And the worst thing that happens is be like, oh, she likes my bag. But it could be, oh my gosh, this is, my favorite bag I just bought. Well, but it's putting yourself out there and then not being afraid. If they don't connect or they don't respond, that's unfortunate because they just missed out on an opportunity to get to know you. So, and I like to tell people, think of no as standing for next opportunity. Look at that little man. Hey buddy, how are you?
He said Tay-Tay. He always points out Tay-Tay.
Oh,
Say hi.
my girlfriend.
Hey.
Hi, Bookie.
Tay-Tay.
But yes, Emily, just reach out and connect to them. So think of no as NO equals next opportunity. So if that person didn't connect, but you're not going to connect with people if you don't reach out. And I would challenge you to try to connect with 3 people a day, just when you're out and about. So if you're going to Starbucks, if you're at Target, if you're whatever you're doing in your day to day, look for opportunities to connect with people, because whether that leads to a business conversation or not, you just made somebody's day better by sharing something that you notice about them. And that's going to make you feel good about yourself regardless. Because one of the things it says, when you're feeling bad about yourself, go do something nice for somebody else. Well, who was it? Lose yourself in the service of others. It was one of our leaders said that at an event. Get lost in the service of others. Yeah, Tasha, the answer is always no if you don't ask. So Emily, I hope that addressed it a little bit. Just be brave and be strong and think, who out there needs to get to know fabulous me? And go out there and do it. Don't deprive them of that privilege. Gabby, I need to work on consistency in this biz. That's what I'm lacking. Getting better, but still needs improvement. And that's like a muscle. You just keep doing it. And, I liken it back to my analogies here is kind of like, so if you've been onboarded and you know what you need to do, but you just don't do it, or you want somebody else to do it for you, is like getting a personal trainer. You tell the personal trainer what your goals are. I want to be a size this or whatever. I want to be able to lift X. And the personal trainer tells you, okay, here's how you do it. And then they show you how it's done. They do a couple crunches and sit-ups. Well, they can't do the crunches and sit-ups for you to give you the results that you want. You've got to show up and you've got to do the work. So whether, that consistency could be, and I don't know what else you have going on in your personal life or in another job, but it is being intentional about that time. If you only have an hour a day, and it may not be an hour consecutively, maybe it's 15-minute chunks that you're like, okay, I got a 15-minute break. I'm going to reach out to 5 people. Another 15-minute break. I'm going to follow up with 5 customers. Another 15-minute break. I'm going to reach out to my team members or my prospects and connect. And you make it every single day. So hopefully that addressed that. Maddie wants to know, what's an obstacle you overcame while still showing up for your business? Is that a question for me? Like when I was doing the business? I don't know. Well, I'll share an obstacle though, because my obstacle was my kids at the time, because I was a stay-at-home mom. Yes, if I'd like to share. So back then you had telephone, like you had to pick it up and call people. Email was only starting to be popular. So the way I reached my customers was I did a newsletter. Like I laid it out in Microsoft Publisher, if you know what that is, made copies, like Randa Kinko's made copies. And then I would fold them, print out address labels and stuff those in envelopes, put stamps on them. And I would take my kids to, it was Discovery Zone at the time, McDonald's Playroom. I mean, I still apologize to them. Like, I can't believe I put you in that ball pit, but found things for them to do so that I could work my business and do what needed to be done. So I figured out ways to incorporate them into my business as they got older. I asked them to help. Yeah, Discovery Zone was the best. You probably played there, possibly with my kids. So, but finding ways to make your family part of your business and helping them see, and it doesn't hurt your kids to see you setting goals and working hard to achieve them. And especially when you start seeing the benefits of this business and can say, hey, you know, we're going to go to, I'm going to spell it because there's DISNEY, you know, so maybe you put that up on a board and you let your kids know, hey, mommy's going to go make these phone calls because this is our goal. This is our family goal over here. So Tasha, I'm dead. Yes. I'm glad my kids aren't, because those were gross. So any other questions?
Thank you so much, Natalie.
Why did you say you too much? I just didn't want Booker to hear it and be like, hey.
Hello. Hello.
Hello.
What? Another marker? We've been coloring on mommy's notes.
Oh, very good.
The joy.
Well, thank you guys. This was so much fun. And please, if I can support you guys in any way, you know, little tips or things to say, reach out on Instagram. If you want to find me there, it is private because there's some weird people out there, but it's just at enrich614.
I'll send her Instagram, you guys, in the chat. But
perfect.
Thank you so much. I learned a ton. I was reminded of a ton of things. And we honestly all feel so special that you took the time to do this.
Aww.
Just for us. People were geeked when I told you on Monday. So
I'm happy to do it again as needed and would love to hear. So I would challenge all of you, take something you learned tonight, expand that comfort zone. I'm not telling you to step out of it because that's not fun. Just expand it, so stretch it a little bit. Go out and share because you've got a great gift in my Nate and you've got a great gift in you.
guys, and business cards,
share that with others. Yeah,
business
love
cards
it.
can be cute.
Yes.
Okay? And they can have your IG on it. So I know that I made this on Canva myself, and then Haley made me one time, and then I print them out at Staples for like $12. Not Kinko's.
You can
not
have them printed and delivered to your house straight from Canva too.
I know, but
That's what I do.
They're over.
But if you
I
go
paid
to
$11.
Staples, if you go to Staples, you might meet somebody that you can talk about the business, because when they ask about your business cards and you say, oh, it's my business. Hey, I've got some samples right here. You should try them. See? Get out and about.
Exactly. Thank you so much. Can you say bye-bye and thank you? Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you again, Natalie.
Thank you. Have a great night, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Tay-Tay, you see her?
Hey.
Tay-Tay, look, she's waving. Tay-Tay. Tay-Tay. Oh, Angelica, she has red hair.
Hi, Bookie.
You wave hi. Yeah, red hair.
Yeah.
Show her your yellow marker.
I love it.